It's time for the finals. Number 1 and 2 in the world find themselves in the final here at the Corona Cero Open J-Bay. Gabriela Bryan in her first final appearance here in South Africa. Molly, runner-up to Lakey Peterson.
Big heats for both of them, so their third surf today as we watch Molly rolling in.
Molly controls the start of the heat, out-positioning Gabriela Bryan. World number 1 just fading under the white water. Channeling that speed down the line. She'll fade once again, finds the pocket on her back. Beautiful lines all the way back into the power source. Leaning into a cool rail hook just to change gears. Now Molly fading down to the bottom. Trims that first section. Flying down towards impossibles. Blitzes the lip line well. And she will step off.
But what a start here for M.Picklum.
Watching this opener, how'd you like the first turn, Rosie?
I loved it, Joe. It really just set her up for the rest of this heat. That was kind of like that setup turn. We noticed that some of those beginning waves are a little bit slow, so Molly just S-turning her way, waiting for this wave to stand up. She's really found the sweet spot in the lineup, knowing where to pick the waves, and her wave selection has been incredible and a crucial component of her success here.
Just easy paced, and then that little speed tag at the end, Jesse.
I mean, I could sound like a broken record, but how she's driving through the turns is really impeccable. As you see it, she's never really stomping on the back foot only. She's not only relaying on the back foot and the fins. She starts it off on the back foot and then transfer the energy and the weight to the front foot. And that just creates amplitude, creates drive, and it's just way more dynamic. And she's doing that better than anyone throughout the event. As you see it on this turn right here. Oh, this is kind of that layback carve. Notice how she starts to compress on that front leg. She bends that front leg and extend the back one, putting all the weight, or not all the weight, but a good amount of the weight on the front foot, and that just generates speed throughout the turn. And kept the rails pretty clean throughout the whole wave. Like there was no downtime, just beautiful rail working from heels to toes for M.Picklum.
And also winning in El Salvador, where she made the final the year before. Loading up, the most powerful surfer on tour. Flexes through that first section. Throwing water once again off the tail of that mayhem. Now starting to jam down the line. Where Molly started slow, Gabrielle started in attack mode, and still a huge power gouge on the open face. Hustling to get out in front for more, and that one's going to shut down, but the damage has been done. Two different styles, a complete contrast.
This Choi, every section that is in front of her, she doesn't ever hold back. She might cut it a little bit shorter and tighter, but that's all because she's really pushing those legs and using every inch of that board in order to dig that rail in a good way. And right here, she's going to do it again, gets the speed. Massive layback carve, but that wave just starts to run a little bit in front of her, more than she was probably hoping for and expecting, and she can't get around that section, but damage done and so much water displayed.
There's something about Gabby surfing when she gets to a final, like she's already achieved her spot in the WSL Final Fives. Here she finds herself in the finals, and there's just this release of pressure, and she's really surfing by feel, I think, and she's just upping every maneuver that she's doing, which makes her so dangerous in this situation.
And I feel like she's starting to not just be super back heavy footed. She's kind of starting to drive more. So like you mentioned, she usually gives us a little bit more on the finals or as the event progresses.
Gabriela Bryan taking advantage of the Red Bull ski. M.Picklum in motion. Hits it off the lip line, likes to come from behind the section to hit the most critical part of the wave. Now finding her flow state. Will come off that higher line and start pressing off the bottom. Cool redirect for Picklum. Swings it back into the pocket. And now loading up, has to adjust again. End section always tricky, and that one was maybe the trickiest she's had to deal with today. Before we get there, let's watch Molly's again, Ro.
There's something about Molly's connectivity and flow through these J-Bay waves. Like, even though she gets a little bit caught behind there, it's still like going through each of these maneuvers, like attacking that lip line. She's trying to create that point of difference. She knows she's up against one of the most powerful women in our sport. So where can I kind of put my brand of surfing to create that point of difference? And I think Molly, with that, you know, degree of difficulty that she's bringing to the table, the varying up her maneuvers and attacking this end section, that's just such a positive thing for her. I mean, that section is insane that she's going for, and just needs that little bit more speed in order to get that maneuver, maintain her composure over the board.
Yeah, I agree with you. And just the flow that she keeps throughout the wave, it feels like she connects the wave from the top to the bottom a little bit more smoothly. And that's appealing to the eye when you're watching live as a judge and just an spectator. Right here, just going for broke, but kind of hitting the inside of the lip a little bit underneath, and had the spot taken in the last event for a few mistakes that she had in a heat against Erin Brooks. It looks like Molly up and riding. That sounds much better to talk about than what I'm saying. So
late takeoff there for Molly. Up and down, back to Jesse. You know, are you kind of maybe trying to get the number 2 seed?
Yeah, sometimes you hope for it, really.
Here comes Gabriela Bryan. Waiting patiently to open up. Top turn carve, doesn't look interested, steps off. So priority doesn't change. World number 1 will take this wave. Setting her pace off the bottom and lays into a throwaway.
You have to keep your attention throughout that period of time. Here you're talking about 30 to 40 seconds. So it's 3 or 4 times longer and more time that you have to keep concentrated, and Molly up and riding.
Under priority, M.Picklum trying to make up from that mistake with priority. Lays down a clean arc. Section's going to knock her back and hold her behind, forced to jump off again. Nothing changing. Big thanks to the WSL putting J-Bay back on the calendar for the women. Here comes Molly attacking that first section. Pushing her back on her heels and back behind this whitewater, but she's going to hang in there. Emerging out in front. Smaller open face. She'll arc her way through, staying light on her feet. Couple little warbles in this lip line. You can see it kind of feathering in front of her, but she'll hang in there. Little swoop out front. Nice timing on the snap off the top, and Molly calls it a wave. This is what Gabriela Bryan was waiting for, but this would be the nightmare for Molly Picklum paddling back out. Seeing the most powerful surfer on tour just getting started. Warming up the rails of this surfboard from Lost. Pushing off the bottom, keeping it nice and controlled in the pocket. And then unloads a nice little rip into the pocket. There's the fade, and here comes the wall. World number 2 lights it up. Gabby now patient. Just those steady little pumps to push off the bottom, and now lays into that solid off the top. Little bit out in front of the tube as she is way down, passing impossibles, and she will kick out right by the free surf session that's happening way down the line.
Done something quite dynamic and hit that lip. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's just flawless surfing from her, but just that tiny bit lateral.
Yeah, I'm kind of going the same route. It is going to be close most likely because of a turn that she does right in the middle is very critical. But like you mentioned, this is beautiful, but still the wave not as steep as the judges were probably hoping for, and even herself. And this is when the wave starts to steepen up, and she does this massive carve, which that's going to add a lot of points to her wave. And then right here, she starts to go lateral, like you mentioned, Rosie. Gets up and vertical, but very back-footed. Tries and pull in, but doesn't get covered. Yeah, I felt like there's a little bit more left in that wave for her to grab it. 6.68. It's going to be up to that turn. Right when the wave doubles up, it feels good enough to get that score, but I felt like it lacked a little bit of criticalness.
Yeah, I think like you look at it, and that wave had the potential to be excellent. Like it could have really had that wow factor, and almost like looking down the line a little bit too much, like kind of wanting the barrel, but then mistiming that, so opting to go to turns.
You know, like she was composed throughout the halfway through the wave, and the wave didn't give her much opportunity. And then as soon as the wave starts to stiffen more, it's when she kind of was hesitating a bit. This is massive though. Like this is a very big turn. Mostly looking at slow-mo, you can see how much damage and how much water was displayed.
Gabby Bryan bringing the power, and J-Bay is hers. Your champion of the Corona Cero Open here at J-Bay. Gabriela Bryan beats world #1 in pumping conditions.
Wow, what a heat.